welcome back. You know, Hurricane Dorian's landfall in the Bahamas and North Carolina, just reminders of how important it is to get ready for big storms. We want to explore what South Alabama, the region, is doing to prepare for that next big events. We have Roberta Swann, the director of the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program. It's a place-based non-regulatory program of the EPA. Roberta, thank you for coming in. A lot to cover here. You guys are always busy. First, what are some of the things that you guys are doing to make sure the area is more resilient?
So our program focuses on working with local governments to improve how they manage land and water, do environmental management, and we do that with a watershed-based approach. So we do that through working with communities to develop comprehensive watershed management plans, educating local officials, engaging communities through cleanups and sea oats plantings or marsh plantings. We do a lot of different work, but probably our biggest impact is through actually going in and strengthening our local waterways' abilities to handle the greater volume and velocity of stormwater runoff.
And how is that accomplished?
How is that accomplished? It's accomplished through a process where we hire engineering teams that go in, they model how best to manage the water running through the system. We install a lot of rock in these streams that aren't natural, and so what I like to describe our work as being, it's not really stream restoration, it's installing stormwater facilities in the streams that reintroduce ecological function. So it's the difference between a concrete culvert and rocks and grasses and sands that help maintain the water within the stream to allow it to infiltrate back into the ground, as opposed to running off and causing flooding downstream.
And on that note, I mean, we know our local waterways tend to overflow. We had video showing momentarily from Doleave Creek.
Absolutely. So in Doleave Creek, that's probably the area's poster child for erosion and sediment flushing into Doleave Bay. And so we've probably invested over $20 million working with the cities of Daphne, Spanish Fort, Baldwin County, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, and the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund has been our key investor in that watershed, just to stabilize all of those highly erodible soils in those stream beds.
It really is a collaborative effort. Everyone has to be on board.
Correct. And so we spend a lot of time working with local property owners because we're the entity that's going in and doing the work. We don't have city easements or anything like that. So our job is to educate the local property owners about what we're trying to do, how we're trying to improve environmental conditions, and to get them to be part of our project teams when we go in and do these projects that are identified through the planning process.
One more question. I'm being told to wrap it up, but I do want to know, we are in an active hurricane season right now. What are some of the vulnerabilities?
Some of the vulnerabilities. I mean, it's storm protection, right? So it's wind and waves and storm surges. So the most important thing that we do is educate communities around Mobile Bay about the impacts of storm surges, especially under scenarios with sea level rise. One of our most successful projects was the protection of the tip of Monlouis Island, which really, if the tip of Monlouis Island had eroded, the Pelican Reef and the houses on the other side of Monlouis Island would have been much more vulnerable to the impacts of those storm surges and that water coming up into Fowl River. So our job is to, one, educate the public about, that these impacts exist, and two, here are the things that we can do to protect your assets, your homes, your businesses from storm surge using green infrastructure. All
right, well, we certainly appreciate you guys and all the work that you do. We're going to have this interview posted on our YouTube page, so look for it shortly and subscribe. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.